Link up, my nigga, let's link up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Link Up. I am your host, Mr. Ron the Don. And ladies and gentlemen, I got a very special guest in the building, a longtime friend, Mrs. Lexie Walters, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited.
I appreciate you for coming out to the pod. I'm not gonna lie, it still looks slanted, but it's okay. We just gonna have to deal with it. I'll edit it later.
Okay.
But yeah. I mean, I guess we can get into it, right? There's big news out of today. President Joe Biden has announced that he is dropping out of the presidential race. He will not be running for office this upcoming election. With everything transpiring with Trump, the assassination, Sleepy Joe, about to kiss another woman, saying the wrong names. It's looking like Donald Trump potentially might have this in the bag.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly saw that coming. I think from once Trump got shot,
Oh yeah.
automatically I knew that it was gonna turn tables, and at some point it was either like, Joe, you better have you better have something to combat that, or you might as well drop out. Me personally, not a big political person, but we are cooked. That's the best way I can. That's the best way I can put it. We're cooked.
So what are we like? Well done? Overdone?
Definitely well done for sure.
Yeah.
We're a well done steak without seasoning. Actually, a
Yeah.
little bit. The economy might be in better standing. Maybe.
That's true.
Maybe. That would be probably the only good benefit I would see coming out of Trump winning the election. But aside from that, there's just going to be a lot of, I don't even. There's going to be a lot going on. I know that for sure. So.
I understand. I just like how when I became of age to vote, it's like now we start getting all these characters in office. When Barack Obama first became president, I was still in elementary school.
Exactly.
So, I mean, for me, I kind of spoke on this in my last pod. I'm just, gonna do my research and go with whoever is the best option for me and what I align with.
Yeah.
And, let it be from that standpoint. But as of right now, it is definitely scary hours. The Democratic Party, Joe Biden is advocating for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
I kind of seen that coming. Just as a side note,
I see that.
I don't know if you watch basketball or not. The way he carried yesterday should be LeBron James running for president. He saved America once again. But yeah, I'm not shocked because, like you said, after the assassination, I'm kind of like, yeah, popularity. He won everybody over. Got the people wearing the bandages. Won the hood over. He survived shots. Like had the iconic pose at the end with the blood all on the side. But I mean, it wasn't all bad when he was in there. I must say, like, it was bad from maybe like a PR standpoint.
Yeah.
But like you said, financially and certain stuff, not all of his ideas were terrible.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But yeah, that's the state of America right now. Let's talk about love.
Okay.
What is true love to you?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. First of all, I think it's definitely a commitment for sure, but I think true love is more of an action than a feeling. I think it's a sacrificial act of committing to something and someone over and over and over and over again.
Definitely.
And through that, you're able to water whatever that thing is, whether it's a passion for music or a person. And I think through that level of commitment and sacrifice, you, as I said, you water that thing and it grows into something beautiful and fruitful.
Yeah, like a nice flower.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
was beautifully,
Thank you.
put. I don't think like I thought I was talented with words, but I don't know if I could have, put it that way. Um, to me, love is like I know you said it's not a feeling, but for me it is like a feeling because love could be like when times get hard, deep down inside that you still want to remain with, that person, that passion,
Mhm.
you know, anything that you really truly love. And then like your actions will show, like you said. So I definitely, uh, feel you from like in that sense. The reason I asked the question, I had a question posed to me and I wanted to put it on the pod because basically, this guy, uh, he got approached by this woman.
Yeah.
Uh, she put her number in his phone and like, they just kind of hit it off. But in this situation, he's not really he's not the one pursuing, he's being the pursued. In society, it's the other way around. You know, they had their affairs or whatever, and they're setting up a date. She cancels it, but then pulls up on him at 1 p.m. And then, they do the do. Somebody's always calling. But this guy feels like because it's such an adrenaline rush that he wants to stay. So with all that being said, like, what do you think about this whole situation? How do you think he should approach this situation with all that's going on? Because I'll tell you what I told him. Like, sorry to, I was just like, to me, it seems like, you're the woman in this situation. But what are your thoughts? Being that you are a woman
Yeah.
in, today's society, what are your thoughts on the situation?
First things first, I would say I definitely think that as much as we like to stray away from gender roles, I do believe that roles were made for a purpose. I do believe that roles are there for a purpose, and it's not so that the man can have control or that the woman can be like the submissive one and all this stuff, but it's just more so like it's just in a man's God given nature to be the pursuer
Mm-hmm.
and the hunter. So I do believe like in this situation, he was probably robbed of that role. And now that kind of makes things a lot more strenuous on the dynamic because it's going against like the natural order of things,
All right.
which is probably why there's like
This whole conundrum.
right.
Yeah. His head is spinning.
All this because it's like now, as you said, he's the woman. Like he's and I'm sure men don't really know what to do in that kind of role. Like we kind of already know like we want to be pursued, we know how we want to be.
Mm.
So it kind of puts him in that role of a woman and he's probably just kind of I guess thrown off trying to figure out like
How do I regain power?
right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How do you regain like the role of a man?
For sure.
I think in this case for him, I think he should be honest about what he wants. Be honest about how the connection makes him feel, and try to communicate that in a way that lets her know, like, hey, like I'm the man. Like I want this to work too, but like let's try it this way. Um, I'm sure she might not take lightly to that either way because we're women, so we're gonna overthink everything and be like, well, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't like all the stuff I'm doing for you, blah blah blah. But I think if he kind of steps back from like the feeling and like what he actually does want out of the or relationship dynamic, whatever it is, I think it would be a lot better to navigate. That's like my
Yeah, I can understand that. It's just for me, I mean, I'm out of the game,
yeah.
but I've seen the way things are nowadays. It's definitely a different dynamic. In your days of, city girl behavior, sexy red, it's kind of tough out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And as a guy, I'll be the first person to tell you, I don't chase, I'm the catch. So like I'm a firm believer, if they want you, let them choose. But at the same time, like I do want to have that role to like, feel like empower and not have that taken away from me.
Yeah.
But then I also feel like it's the actions you show after that. If you really stepping down on the situation, then I feel like you can regain that power.
Definitely.
And I feel like there's ways to set standards and boundaries and expectations. And who knows? Maybe if you start showing that assertiveness, maybe she'll come around and be like, I submit to you.
I was just
You know
gonna
what I'm
say,
saying?
like, because I feel like no matter how, especially with this whole like women empowerment thing, like, I don't know who came up with this, but it has to stop. Like, I don't want to be empowered and I can do everything by myself. And like, anyway, I think with this whole like empowerment thing, women have gotten so used to being in control, but it's very attractive when a man is in control.
Yeah.
Like at first it might seem like ugh, but after a while it's like okay, like
Yeah.
okay. So like I was gonna say like maybe at some point she might find that attractive because you like no woman on earth can tell me that like she doesn't find a man who takes charge attractive because it is
Definitely.
like it's very attractive when a man can be like all right like we're doing this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because number one, it takes the pressure off you, and number two, it's just I'm sorry, I don't want to be with a weak bitch. Like I don't want to be with someone that I can just like bitch around and like
There we go. Rip the band-aid off.
I don't like that's ugh.
I was waiting for you to drop a bomb. Now I can start going in. But no, I definitely respect that. And it's so crazy. I want to get to like because you said something that kind of like, what do you think? Because I know somebody, they're like, man, I wish women never push so hard to like, be able to work for themselves. Like true story, people. I do know somebody who has said this to me on multiple occasions. Like she's like, I'd rather be, the stay-at-home mom, cooking, cleaning, and I mean, in her family dynamic, they work equally.
Yeah.
So she's a cool gal. And she's not complaining, but she's like, dang, sometimes I wish like it was still like back in the old days where I can just be at home, take care of the kids,
Yeah.
and then like the man made enough to, that we can chill out. But in today's society, it's almost hard for like one person to work unless you're filthy rich or making a lot of money, and then for the other to stay home and have kids on top of that,
Yeah.
and a nice living space, a nice neighborhood is kind of a lot. So my question is like, how much of a factor does that factor in with that, and do you feel like if a woman is wanting that in today's society, is it adding added pressure to the man, as like in the provider role?
I feel like first off, I just want to put it out there that single mothers do it all the time. They have to provide for not one, multiple kids and themselves, right? Which is already a lot of work. It might not be a full grown adult that you're providing for, but kids are just as much as work, if not, they're
Yeah, it's like a second shift for
It
sure.
is. I mean, think especially if they're younger, like that's doctor's appointments.
Mhm.
God forbid they get an ear infection. They play too hard at school.
Yeah.
Mommy, I want this. Mommy, I want. So it's like they're they're doing it all the time. So I feel like to say it's yeah, obviously like it can be challenging nowadays to have that dynamic, but I personally don't think it's impossible. And if I'm being honest, like I definitely feel like if that was the thing today, society would look way different. Way, way,
For
way
sure.
different. 100%. I personally do not want to be an independent girly, flush it down the toilet.
You want to be a homebody
I
princess?
do. I want to be put up in a house.
I respect it.
I do. And it's not because I want to be lazy. Um, I think it's just when I have children, I want to be fully present for my children.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think being in a career is going to give me the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Because most of my time will be going to my career and not nurturing my children. And I think the first 3 to 5 years of a child's life, it's very imperative for them to be connecting with their mother, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be a part of that process and see my child grow and like nurture them and be the first person to plant morals and things like that in them. I don't believe in daycare. I don't want to hand off my child to somebody where they can be influenced by everything else around them. And furthermore, I just feel like it's not really in a woman's nature to be so hardworking. And it's not because we can't do it or we shouldn't do it. I think it's just we excel better in other avenues. I think women excel better in creativity and in nurturing. And I'm not saying that's all she's limited to, but I think that when women are taken out of the role of working and working, first of all, let me touch on this. When I've seen women personally, and I know women personally that have been in the workforce for forever, and it's like the life has been sucked out of them. Like they're not a woman
I've seen it too.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They're very like strict and stern and they're mean and they can put on all the makeup in the world and like there's nothing feminine about them at all.
Hey, as I always say, you can wash the ass so many times, but the fart's still gonna stink. And what I mean by that is like you can clean the outside all you want, but the inside, is all like it's bitter, is rotten.
Yeah.
So like, working and slaving all the time definitely, does that to a woman for sure.
It does because that's such a strenuous cycle and it's strenuous to our bodies. On top of that, we have to deal with our periods and pregnancy and all these different things that are
Salute. I couldn't do it.
It's the worst. You have to like those are times where you should be resting.
Yeah.
And we have to fight through that. There's so many times where I see like these tampon commercials or these tampon and pad commercials, and these girls are like jumping and skateboarding, and I'm like, who is lying to y'all? Like that is not no. Like I don't know one person that does that on their period. Most of the time, we're resting and we're relaxing because that's what we're supposed to be doing while our body's undergoing that process. But in a society, we have to push through, we have to work, and we have to, and you know what I'm saying? Like after a while, you kind of get, I feel, you kind of get desensitized to your feminine essence.
True nature.
Right.
Yeah.
And you start operating like a man. So that's what I've seen. And I feel like whereas like women who have lived a more slower pace of life, they're a lot more in tune with themselves. They're a lot more in tune with their emotions and they're able to connect with people better. They're able to be more present. And I feel like that's where we truly shine. Like, yeah, for the ones who are out there that are like killing it, that's great. But I just personally feel like things need to go. And on top of that, if things were to go back to that order, a lot of these weak men would have no choice but to step it up and like get their no offense. Sorry.
You heard it here first, man. Step that up.
Step up and like play your role and be a man and be a provider and take charge, and because it's funny because men like will say, especially on these like red pill podcasts, like Andrew Tate's up there and I want a submissive woman and I want
I was just
my
about
woman.
to ask you about all this stuff, but I'm glad you're going in this direction. Tell me more. I'm just listening. This your podcast. I'm watching.
Listen, yeah, I'm the host. You sit in the host chair.
Hey.
But no, like these men will sit here and be like, "Oh, I want a submissive woman," and this, that, and the third. And if I'm doing, but it's like men haven't really. I can't blame it on one gender specifically. It's both of our faults. But specifically to them out there, like a lot of men have fallen short in the leadership role and being a protector and being a provider. And I think that's where a lot of women have kind of been like, all right, you know what? Like, let me be an independent girly because security is really important to us. And if a man is not demonstrating those qualities in our heads, we're like, okay, like we're not safe, we're not secure. So like, let me take care of everything myself. And then of course, on top of that, the agenda that's being pushed that women can do everything a man can do basically reinforces that same belief. Anyway, I say that to say that like if things were that way, we would have less red pill men and men actually stepping into their roles as providers, and we would have more submissive and softer women who will be supportive of that role.
I mean, just not saying I disagree with you, but I just want to offer a rebuttal.
Okay.
Say in a man's head, he is doing everything he can to provide for his woman. A lot of guys, they go out and work, and like you said, if a woman goes out there and works, she becomes desensitized because she gets hardened in nature. But in a guy's life, he might go to work. He's getting passed up on opportunities. He really needs that money for his family. Like he's trying, he's giving it his all. But then at home, he's got a woman telling him how he ain't this, he not doing this, he not doing that. So instead of, and then you have women nowadays like sometimes I forgot who said it. I want to say Erica Banks. Somebody was like, they don't like if a guy sits there and argue with them, then like it shows that the guy is like weak to them. But sometimes like a guy can say something and the female will question it and just instead of letting him lead. So then the guy just feels like in turn, like, I don't want to deal with this. I'll get less stress if I go with somebody else or if I'm by myself. So I'm saying all that to like, what would you say to that? Like, if like, do women recognize the the distress and pressure that a man face in society on a daily? Like, are they cognizantly, that's probably not a word, cognitively aware of the obstacles, especially in like black men or different like other race men minorities is what I'm looking for. Like, do you feel like all that goes unaccounted for in the woman side of things?
I definitely feel like we as women are never gonna really know truly what it's like to be in a man's shoes. I would imagine it's a lot of work.
Can I tell you a story real quick?
Okay.
Sorry to cut you off, but I heard from a very knowledgeable person. He was reading this book, and like a lady, she wanted to see what it's like to be a man, so she transformed into a man, live life as a man. And she was writing a book, and she was just saying how difficult it was, like in daily life she was being unnoticed, unseen. She would go on dates, she would be treated like she isn't anything, and then when she tells like the woman like, well, I'm actually this person and I'm doing it because this, then she'll receive a different energy. And then like she just realized like trying to be a man in everyday life was so hard. that it affected her so much that afterwards, after the book came out, everything, she had like so much trauma from that whole experiment. She ended up, you know, herself. Yeah. So like that kind of is like recently what a lot of men have been pointing to as to where like this is proof that it's hard to be a man.
Wow. Wow. I was not expecting it to take that turn.
Yeah, me either. When I heard the story and then read for it myself, like I was like, dang, like, but you know, it as a man speaking to you, I definitely I always say like the two sides are never gonna fully understand each other
For sure.
because there's you can no offense, but you can explain to a woman all day long, and they're gonna be like, yeah, but this. So it's
Yeah.
like it's never gonna be, and that's it's a hard thing, but like you said earlier when you were talking about love, if two people are gonna be together, they're gonna have to sacrifice and try to understand.
I agree. Definitely. Well, yes, I said it, but no, that's true. I feel like we're never really gonna understand each other as much as we try. But I think in a situation like that, especially I personally believe that men have it way harder. I gotta deal with so much competition and
Yeah.
rejection from women, and God forbid you're a minority. Like there's so much that you guys have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and I respect y'all for doing it 100%. I couldn't be a man personally. It's not for me. But what I would say is in a relationship to sustain that dynamic, especially if the man wants to be seen as like a leader, wants to be trusted, try to like refrain from all that back talk from the woman. I think it would be important for the man to definitely communicate what he needs from a woman. I think that's a very good start. Just communicating like how she can be of support. Yeah, I think it's important for a man to communicate what would make him feel good coming from his partner. And especially like the way you explained it like that, like how men typically have a harder time in society. I think that in any relationship, first and foremost, especially if like you're looking for that supportive factor from your woman, I think that needs to be discussed 100%. And not only that, but like the man also saying like, okay, like how can I make you feel good in this
Secure,
relationship?
yeah.
How can I make you feel secure? And then what can you do to make me feel like there's not a lot of pressure on me? Because like I hear men say all the time, like I want to be my peace and which is true. Like
I mean, but like, again, I have another, I guess I can call it rebuttal or
okay,
like just, I don't know. I like this conversation. I like picking your brain from a woman perspective.
okay,
And like I said, I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. Like I'm more neutral than anything because I feel like, at times I understand both sides in a
mm-hmm.
sense. And like I said, I just chalked it up to nobody will ever understand. But
Yeah,
with the communication thing, now there's some women, not all, but a man would try to communicate his feelings. And if you lived as a man, this is almost like the worst thing you can do. Because if you try to explain how your day is going and something happened and it just really made you upset, you gonna get looked at as emotional, and that by
yeah,
far makes you weak. So a lot of men compress or suppress their emotions, and they don't talk about this stuff because it's like you said, they want women to be their peace, but then they try to come to their peace, explain their emotions, they're getting labeled as weak. But then when they start to suppress their feelings, he's emotionally unavailable. So now,
mm,
like I said, not all women, but some women. Now I got to go cheat on him because I got to go find somebody that's more emotionally available. Come on now, that do be
yeah,
happening. Like
that's true.
that's real talk. So like. I just feel like, even in that sense, that's why I say it's really hard. Like, not all men are like that. Not all men are toxic.
Yeah,
You got men that love being toxic. Not all women are, toxic and crazy. even though there's a lot,
Yeah.
But um, so yeah, like, what are your thoughts on, you know, that dilemma that men like a man has to face in that sense?
You know, that one's like that's a really good question, honestly. Because it is hard. Because
Hmm.
I think what it, I think what it is like we as women we're the more emotional creature. We're obviously known to be more in tune with our emotions. So it's like when we see a guy expressing his emotions, depending on how he expresses them. But when we see a guy express his emotions, not all the time. And this isn't most, well, I would say nowadays it is most cases. And that's typically with women who aren't as emotionally mature,
Hmm.
I would say. They see it as he's a little bitch. Like he's a woman. Like he wants some lip gloss. Like, they
Crazy. That's crazy.
so
Yeah, that's crazy.
okay, sister girl.
Let me sip a drink
Let's
of
go
water.
get our hair done.
That's crazy. What's that thing females always say? It's giving toxic.
It's
That's what you're
giving,
giving?
yeah. It's giving no, but definitely like we I'm so sorry. That's funny. Um
That's crazy. You'll see laughing in a real nigga face
sorry.
like that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, be serious. What? Now, see, now you're giving sassy, Ronnie.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Hell nah.
you just gave me a very sassy look.
Come on.
Okay, all right, I'll stop. So, when
See,
we see,
that's how you regain power.
that's true. You.
Yeah, I got that jump down to a science.
I
And
love
see,
that for you.
I'm at a disadvantage because when I tell her, like, I don't know what it is with women and this whole what's your sign thing,
Yeah,
but I'm a Cancer,
yeah.
so they automatically gonna be like, nah, I can't mess with you. You too emotional. Little do they know, I'm not even about to argue with you. Honestly, you gonna go through it by yourself. Like, crazy. I only go back and forth with people that I genuinely care about because I
Yeah.
be trying to get them to understand. It's not even a good argument. It's more of like I'm trying to explain to you how I think. But certain people, you just gotta let them have their moment.
That's true. You gotta just let them argue it out with themselves.
Facts.
Cause, it's funny. My brother, he's he's a Cancer too. His birthday is the 3rd of July.
I respect it.
And I always thought he was like very emotional.
Crazy.
But I've come to realize that he's not emotional. He's just very in tune with his emotions. He's just
Facts.
he knows what he wants.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where that can get misconstrued. So I understand your
Definitely.
dilemma. I do. I do. I get it. But see, that's not something common. Like we don't see that a lot in society. Like we're used to the crazy and like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like we're used to people who are not as
Like I said, like I always say, I'm not gonna chase because I'm the catch. And no, like real talk, like, cause this helped me. A lot of dudes that I'm cool with, they be like, "Oh man, this man Ronnie got a lot of, a lot of hoes." But honestly though, like, I'm not gonna say if that's true or that's not true. I'm married now, but at the same time, like, the only reason that women stayed around me is cause like I was laid back, chill, being myself, and I didn't go out there and try to be seen.
yeah.
Because like women like mystery.
They do. They
Yeah.
do. They don't like the ones who do this.
Nah.
And 9 times out of 10,
So,
the ones who do all this, they're not really.
but at the same time, like women say that, but then they still be throwing them people like they throw them some on the side
It's
though.
because I feel like because people who present them, well, men specifically who present themselves that way, come off as confident, even if it's not, like they come off as like confident and self-assured, and that's very attractive to women because it's like
Yeah,
if you trust yourself, then I can trust you.
right.
Kind of like, at least subconsciously, that's kind of how I've learned to understand it.
Hmm.
Which is why oftentimes you'll see guys like that mainly be the one to get girls. It's not because like they're a jerk. It's just more so they present themselves with confidence, and it's like, oh, okay, like. But it's the same way around. Like, as a man, you wouldn't want a girl who's like, oh, I'm shy and I don't
That's
like.
not true.
No.
I put it this way though, because if we talking about gender roles, like I'm not saying she gotta be shy and like a whole weirdo. Hell no, you don't want that. But I'm saying like a dude, I'm pretty sure a lot of dudes, if you took a girl and she was bad, but she was more reserved, chill, laid back, not with the drama.
Yeah.
And then you took the same girl, same, level of pretty and everything, but she all like loud and ghetto. I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like most dudes will go with the chill, laid back because it's like, you don't want to hear the drama. You don't want the drama coming to you, should I say, because sometimes the drama be entertaining. But like you don't want all of that, and then like a girl that's loud trying to be seen, like, or I'll break it down even simpler. You want a baddie that only got 200 followers on Instagram, or you want a baddie that got 70, 7,500. So like in a sense, in her inbox, she getting dumb DMs. Everybody trying to, you feel me? In the
Yeah.
200 shorty, she chilling, she living life, she rocking with you. It might be one or two in the DMs, but if she keeping it solid, or there's a lower risk, a dude gonna go with that.
Yeah.
That's just how I.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's true. I feel like, especially nowadays, with the way everything is looking in society, I'm
Yeah,
sure
you want something
men.
that's mostly untouched.
Right. I'm sure but I've seen where, I guess what I was trying to say was, I feel like confidence is a huge attraction factor. I feel
It
like in both
definitely is.
dynamics. So I feel like that's
Yeah.
where you do have a point. You have a good point. So I can't really rebuttal
But
that.
that's not even to say
But
like the girl with 200 isn't confident. But I mean, well, I guess you don't want like females, well, women, because they don't like that word female. I don't mean anything about it, but like women don't like cockiness. They like confidence. So that's kind of like in a sense what I'm saying. Like you don't want nobody that's too much. You
yeah.
want somebody that's in a good spot that know who they is.
Yeah.
But like with what you were saying, the guy that talk too much is more. I don't know. Women I talk to, they come off, or the guys that I seen that women talk about, it's like, I mean, I don't like him. He too cocky. But at the same time, you feel me? Like
It's the confidence. It's nothing
I
else
respect it. Like
but this.
I'm not no hater. Hey, get yours.
Is
But
this.
like at the same time, like it just be confusing on
It
the lower
is.
on the like in on the outside level.
It is. And I will say, like, I've dated both. I've dated men who are like the like confident ones, and I've dated men who are like confident but like very laid back about it.
Hmm.
And typically had a better experience with the ones who are more laid back,
For
because
sure.
again, the ones that do all this,
Yeah.
they're like the most traumatized. They're like, but again, like what attracted me to them in the first place
What's
was
the
the
confidence?
confidence.
I
So I
respect
feel like that's where it is. But and then by that time, it's like, by the time, at least I would say, like most women, when they get into it, it's like too late, and they realize like, oh, this guy's like a piece of shit.
it. Mm.
But relating that back to your question, I think I think we have to get to a place where we have to understand that men aren't machines, so it's important for them to express their emotions, and a man should feel comfortable enough to express himself to a woman, and he should be able to talk to his woman. Like, I don't think it's healthy for a man to be suppressing that, because what y'all go through on a day-to-day basis is traumatizing, and you're gonna need someone to talk to about it. But I think we've gotten so used to this thing where like the men have to constantly be strong, and it's not saying that like you have to be, but typically like we see men as like the builders of society.
Mm-hmm.
So like depending on how a man is expressing his emotions, that can be a turn off. Me personally, I like a man. I like a man who will tell me like, this is how my day went, or I don't like when you do this. Like I like that. I value communication. I value transparency. But if you're constantly whining, then that's an issue. Like
No, I get
that's an issue. Like you should go see a therapist. Like that's definitely an issue, because I should be able to like lean on you. Not necessarily, because I've also realized too that like there's men only have so much of a bandwidth to hold space emotionally for women, because at times I realize like it can get too much for them, because they're like, well, all right, like, like, like you're coming to me with all these problems, and like, so I realize like, you know, in a lot of cases, like women should also have that healthy balance of like knowing when.
But like, yeah.
Right. But ultimately, again, we see you guys as like the stronger force in the dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So we feel more safer coming to you and being expressive and being emotional, especially when we know that guys are like the natural problem solvers. And I feel like what happens a lot of the times is like with men who get a little too expressive, it kind of puts the role on the woman to be like
The natural
the problem solver.
Yeah.
You know? And that's where we're like, ugh.
It's just like this is such a fascinating conversation, because there's so many questions I can ask you, even with like the whole problem solver thing.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, there's a dynamic out there. Women will be like, well, I'll go to my guy, I just want to get it off my chest.
Yeah.
But he trying to tell me what to do, and they don't like that, like off rip. But like you said, men are natural problem solvers. So it's like I always never understood why. Like I get it, because you just wanna say it, and that's just how you feel, and you just wanna leave it like, just got it off my chest, that's it.
Yeah.
But the dude gonna be like, well, you know, if you do this, then it ain't gonna happen. And like that's just how we think. So I want like, why do women get so like? Well, you seem to be knowledgeable on both sides, but like, why do you feel like that's such a
huge problem?
yeah?
Because most of the time, if a woman is coming to vent to you, like for example, a situation where like I went into the office today and Sharon was wearing the same Gucci shoes as me.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew that I was going to wear these Gucci shoes today because I told her I was coming in the office with these Gucci shoes. So now I feel like she's trying to copy me.
You know what I would say? I'd be like, but I bet Sharon ain't put that shit on like shit like you did it.
But see, that's what we want to hear. Most of the time, like a guy would be like, well, just don't wear those shoes.
See, but like, I ain't even trying to start nothing, because I know she gonna watch, but I can't even say that. Oh, you pissing me off. So it's like, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
It's like,
I guess it's a timing thing.
no, I feel like when we come to you and we're venting, it's not because we want a problem. Like, it's not because we want an answer. It's just because in that moment we want to feel supported.
Okay.
So, like, if we would, like, okay, I'll take that same scenario and let's say I bring it to my homegirls this time. If I talk to my homegirls about it, I'm going to hear, girl, you looked better in them anyway. Who does she think she is? Like, that's going to make me feel good because I'm getting that support. Like, I'm getting that, like, emotional validation.
But, so, like, you know, but say if roles was reversed.
Yeah.
And, like, a dude came in, he like, dang, this dude, Wayne, had on the same fit as me. He think I'm flyer.
Yeah.
Are you going to be like, are you going to say, like, are you going to give him support? Or are you going to be like, it's just a whiny ass nigga?
No,
like,
I'm gonna be like, no, like you of course look better in it. Like you look better. You know that. Who's this wing guy? Like that's just naturally like the side we're gonna lean on because that's the emotional side of things. Like if you came to us with that kind of problem, that's more of an emotional problem as opposed to like a logical issue. So that's where we'd be more stronger in that support area as opposed to like what is 1+1, like you know what I mean, like so like if guys came to us with like emotional problems, then that's where we would be like, oh, okay, like yeah, like that's where we'd be a little bit more supportive. But so like using that scenario, the guy came in with the same outfit as you, like you're not gonna get like oh well, don't wear that outfit. You're gonna get like whatever, you're the man. If it's a good woman, you're the man. You probably look better in it anyway, and you had on cologne, and you just got your hair cut. So don't even worry about it.
As a side note, I'll be like, I agree with you, but at the same time, I can't wear this jacket because I don't like wearing something else that somebody else wearing. That just pisses me off, especially when they wear it worse than me. I just feel like it automatically make me look worse. So, cause it's like I don't know. You look at cuz he got on this jump, it's all you feel me?
Yeah.
And then you probably look at me and think it's the same thing. I don't know. That's just how I think. That's why I don't like wearing the same as other people. But I got another thing I need you to help me figure out.
Okay.
This whole Chris Brown situation, the junk coming. I ain't gonna say it's getting out of hand because I love to see that boy CD get his money up. But are you paying $1,000 to take a picture with Chris Brown? Are you putting your engagement on the line to take a picture with Chris Brown?
No.
Shout out to that boy, turning up, taking a little anime picture with Chris Brown. The Dragon Ball Z. But
honestly, I don't even like Chris Brown. So.
Well, who do you like?
I like everybody else but Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I don't like his music. I don't like him as an artist.
You like Drake?
I like Drake.
You paid $1,000?
I wouldn't pay $1,000. I think that's absolutely absurd. Yeah. Because like, what? Like I'm paying you to
200. You take 200.
I'm not paying anyone to take a picture. It's a picture.
Okay, for free. You letting them grope you like that?
No, I don't know. I just.
But it's a lasting image. It's a lasting memory.
I just like
right, this your one
we need to bring back shame. We need to bring back shame. Like we need to really bring back shame about certain things because certain things should just not be okay. Like you paying $1,000 to take a picture with somebody, who is probably not going to remember you the next day.
I mean, but they gonna remember it for a lifetime. And
you're gonna remember that you paid $1,000 for that one picture, and this person will never remember you ever again.
It wouldn't be me. Like, unless I just had it like that, it wouldn't be me. I ain't paying no $1,000 for a picture.
But at the same time, it's like, he knows what he's doing.
Like I said,
get to the bag.
It. Exactly. Get your money. Get to the bag. Chris Brown fired with it. That boy be, you feel me?
Cause he
like, bro be doing his thing.
No, I mean, he's talented, definitely, but I just personally don't really care for him that much. And I definitely don't care enough to spend that kind of money on a picture.
So what would you spend $1,000 on? That wouldn't make sense.
Probably makeup. Or like.
See, yeah, that's crazy. Like I'd rather have a picture.
But see, I can use makeup again and again and again and again until it.
And you can go around and show people this.
Yeah, that's also something they're gonna like. They're not gonna cherish that. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, like you took a picture with Chris Brown, like that's cool. And then like they're gonna forget.
People I know. Hey, my homegirl just took a picture with Chris Brown. Go like that junk on the gram. Yeah, they posting it on their story, everything.
I just feel like Beyonce maybe, but Chris Brown.
Cause I feel like
I mean,
me personally, if I like as a dude, cause if I took a picture with Chris Brown, I can't even be as comfortable because you got Jay-Z standing on the side looking all serious and whatnot. So Like you probably won't even get to touch Beyonce like they touching Chris Brown.
That's true.
So,
That's true. But you got the Beyonce experience. Like, you got the experience, you know?
If a dude really going to pay all that money to see Beyonce, I respect it, but nah, it wouldn't be me.
I'm glad it wouldn't be you.
Me too.
That's not
I'm
really
glad
wise
too.
financial
Yeah. That would be wild.
There's a lot of things I would spend my money on, or $1,000 on, before.
I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't do it now, but if I just had it like that, definitely front row seats at the game.
That's different. Because that's
something
like,
that don't last long.
but that's something you can like, that's an experience. You can like cherish that.
Just like the Chris Brown.
No, that's just a picture.
That's
just
an experience. Like women can really say Chris Brown grabbed my ass.
Shame. Again, shame.
Or I
like
bent over him for Chris Brown. Like, and they got proof.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just because I really don't like Chris Brown like that.
I see the hate is real.
I'm not a hater. He's a very talented guy. I just personally would rather spend my money on something that makes more sense than to like have proof. Like I would spend it on Boss Man D-Lo. I would. See. I think he's pretty cool.
See.
I think he's pretty cool. But Chris Brown,
this the new generation. Shout out to Boss Man D-Lo. He from the crib, but at the same time, you telling me you would rather spend $1,000 on Boss Man D-Lo than Chris Brown?
I would.
Yeah, you out of pocket.
His music's way better.
Oh yeah, you out of pocket. No, like I said, no disrespect to Boss Man D-Lo, but yeah, you out of pocket.
His music's way better. I don't know. I just feel like.
Well,
in theory.
Since we comparing music, you know, I got a little segment on the pod called Song of the Day. Okay. This is a segment, you know, I like music. I like to share music, you know, with the audience. Okay. So I like to ask my guests, who are they listening to? Maybe it's your music. Maybe you want to put somebody on. Maybe it's the song you feeling for the day. What is Lexie's Song of the Day?
Ooh.
You really said Boss Man D-Lo, Chris Brown. That's crazy.
Yes, I would. And I would do it over and over and over.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I bet Chris Brown goated.
Hate from America. No, just kidding.
See, I knew it was hate.
No, he's cool. He's a cool guy, but he's not my cup of tea. Music though, okay. Lately I've been into a lot of soca. I don't know if it's because it's summertime and Carnival is like right around the corner. Mm-hmm. But I've been into a lot of soca music. I've been into a lot of Afro beats. So that's mainly what I've been listening to. But if I had to pick a song of the day, there's so many. I'm just trying. Okay, we'll keep it Afrobeats themed. It's called Melanin by Afrobeat. Yeah.
I heard of Afrobeat. Not familiar, but now I gotta go check it out.
He has like he's Afrobeats, but it's more like mainstream Afrobeat. It's not like
Afrobeat. Like you know,
it's like more songs you'd hear on the radio. But if we want to go a little bit deeper,
as we like to do sometimes.
Yeah. There's a song called Bliss Abroad by Masego and Shalea. Very, very good song. Romantic.
You're gonna have to send me these after this.
I will.
You know, I want to get turned.
Okay. One of them's like, and the other one's all like.
See, like, I definitely have some Afro beats albums, like some artists that's, you know, on my list. I got 80 albums that I haven't listened to yet. So,
80?
Yeah, I got a whole list. Like, there was a period of time that I just stopped listening to music and all these albums caught up to me.
Okay.
So, but I'm working on it, getting a couple off a day, one by one. So I definitely, got some people on there. Tim's,
Okay.
she's nice.
He's nice.
Definitely.
Do you like Wizkid?
Wizkid is nice.
I love Wizkid. I would pay $1,000 for a picture. I would.
Chris Brown would disrespect niggas.
Well, okay, maybe not $1,000. I wouldn't pay $1,000, but I would pay. But for me, it's not even about It's not even about like the proof. It's not even about like having proof. Like, oh, I took a picture with Wizkid. It's about the experience and like.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's just because I like him as an artist. Like that would be the experience. Like, wow, I got to take a picture with one of my favorite artists.
If that's your era you in, that's your era you in. You like DeVito?
I do, but like not as much. Maybe I haven't explored his music enough, but
yeah, that's really the only three that I'm familiar with as of right now.
That's
but
okay.
I'm looking forward to listening to, Melanin and I forgot the second one.
Bliss Abroad.
Bliss Abroad.
Yeah.
For sure. Speaking of being in your era,
okay.
You've been getting healthy. You've been drinking green juice. You've been drinking lean juice. Hitting that gym. The dreads. Getting longer and longer.
Thank you.
Skin is glowing.
Thank you.
What's the story behind that?
I'm Jamaican, duh.
Raw style.
I'm Jamaican, but no. Health is something that one of my core values is health is wealth. I believe that health is wealth. I believe that like your body's a temple and you should take care of it. And I didn't really realize that until last year. Last year I was actually diagnosed with a kidney disease. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not fatal.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not fatal, but it definitely changed my perspective on things. Not saying that I wasn't healthy before, because I was, but I didn't realize how fragile our bodies were until I had that experience. And so I was like, okay, like I'm young right now. This is all of the energy that I will have right now. Like, let me use it to really take care of my body, because I just personally don't want to like be that 30-year-old that like let themselves go completely, Yeah. I've seen it a lot where like people hit a wall at 30 and then it's like, what happened? So it's not just for aesthetic reasons, because I definitely do want to look good in my 30s, 40s, 50s. But I think it's just more so like your body is like your machine, and like you have to take care of it in order for it to like keep you going and doing what you need to do. And like you won't be able to properly function and get things done and be accountable to your goals if you don't have a healthy body. And I also believe personally too, being in the gym, staying committed to a healthy lifestyle has changed my life immensely. Because it has, it has, because I for one, I feel like obviously I'm putting nutrients into my body, so like I'm able to operate better. But secondly, I've found that I've become a lot more disciplined, and it's a lot easier for me to like accomplish goals in a lot of areas of my life. So like not only like being consistent with the gym specifically is, and being committed to that level of discipline has helped me incorporate discipline in other areas of my life. So I've seen like, because of that, I've been able to get things done faster My mind is sharper.
Definitely.
And my confidence has skyrocketed since because it's like I know I can trust myself to get something done. I know I can trust myself to stay committed to a goal. And again, just going to the gym is just, I don't know. It's like the best way that I can explain it is like staying committed to like that one habit helps you like build other
habits.
Yeah.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
Aww.
Because you know, a couple years ago I was on the same wave. You know, I'm not like I'm not as healthy as I used to be, should I say. Like my body has been failing me over the past couple years. Uh but like yeah, I used to be in the gym every day. Like that was another thing, like me just being confident and getting people around me. A lot of like the gym is not only like outside, it's inside too. Definitely mentally, because it's almost like you just have like a glow about you, and people like pick up on it and people realize it. And like for me, that was also like the same thing here. Like I was dieting, like disciplined, like I only ate salmon, chicken, steak. And I know like it's kind of like what's stopping you now, but I just been in this state. Um, like I think when COVID happened, they shut down the gyms or whatever, and I kind of, like once you stop going to the gym, it's kind of hard to get back in the routine, especially like when life hits you. And one time I went to the gym, like after not going a long time, and I made the one fatal mistake of trying to pick up from where I left off, and that kind of like ruined my body in a sense. So I have like all these little nagging injuries. Like I got like, sternum situation going on, shoulder situation. So it's like every time I work out now or I try to go to the gym, it's like I'm kind of like re-injuring myself.
Oh man.
So I can only do like, walk, run in the park, everything like that. But I'm glad like that you're on that journey though. Like it gives me hope, to go back because I missed that. Like I was the type, honestly. I used to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym at 6.
Oh, you're wild.
And and the only reason I started doing that because the first time I went to the gym at 6, it was a whole bunch of like dudes that was like, you know what I'm saying, and like they was looking at me like, damn, like you a young kid in here, and like everybody was dapping me up, like respect.
Yeah.
And then I would go home, shower up, go to school, get off of school, go straight to work, help my dad, and then like, you know, 4 times a week that was my routine. And I was like super disciplined in life. I was and sometimes it's like I miss it and life is a lot harder now.
Yeah.
But to anybody watching, I definitely recommend like that kind of it helped me grow,
Definitely.
now I'm more like, now that I'm like physically limited in certain aspects, and it might take me a little minute to get back to that point. I've been like, building myself up mentally and, just taking in knowledge like we were talking about off the pod. Like I just reading more books, getting in tune like spiritually as well, just trying to grow in that aspect until like I can get everything, figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah, not to make it sad because it's not a sad
No,
thing,
you're
but like,
fine.
I love, that for you. Because I feel like that's a big thing. I just been watching as an outsider, like, we've been friends for a long time. And I'm like, look at my dog, like in the gym grinding, drinking these nasty juices. That's another thing too. Like I used to be able to stomach all that stuff,
Yeah.
but now that like I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to diet thing, that one is on me. Cause like I used to be so strict. I used to only drink water. I still mostly drink water, but now I slip a couple sodas and juices in, and like fast food sometimes. So that's definitely on me. But like I used to be very disciplined, and I had the stomach for all that nasty stuff like protein shakes, green juices, like, you know, I used to have a blender. So, you know, I love to see like somebody doing that because I know how helpful and how fun it is.
It is. It is. I
And
mean, don't let it fool you because I'm so ashamed to say this. I think within the past 3 weeks, I've probably ordered checkers like 6 times.
checkers, you still
Yeah.
going to checkers?
All right, look. So
No, checkers is hard, but the checkers around here is trash.
honestly, I haven't had checkers since I started eating it. Well, actually, before I started eating it, I haven't had checkers in over 2 years. But recently, a friend and I went one time, and I don't know, I just had their like chicken bites box, and
Gotta do it.
I got hooked. I got
Them
so hooked.
fries.
And then I tried the funnel cake fries, and I was like, wow, these are actually like. But now I kind of don't like them because they're a little too greasy.
hmm
But I was like, these smack. Like,
Yeah.
and the fact that they're open till like 4 a.m., I was like, wow, how convenient is that? Like,
Yeah.
so like if I'm out one night and I'm hungry, checkers, and the food is always.
I feel like if I had to like, you know, who am I? Look at me. But if I had to give advice, if it's once a week and it's not like an overload, like you're not eating like me, I used to eat like two of the spicy chicken sandwiches, a large fry, I got ice cream. But when you working out, you can actually eat more. Like
Yeah.
your metabolism is way faster. But like as long as you doing it in moderation and that's not like a every other day thing, you're fine.
No, it was definitely like every other day
Oh yeah,
for me.
well you're fine.
But it was every other day. But as you said, like I work out consistently, so it's like I'm burning that off still.
Exactly.
But still, it's not really healthy.
It's not.
But and that's why I try to be so like keen on drinking those nasty juices because I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I'm balancing it. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I've always grown up eating a lot of like fruits and vegetables, and I used to hate it. Like my mom was very strict on me eating healthy at all times. Like literally every morning, I remember specifically in high school, every morning she was like, make sure you take a banana, make sure you take an apple, make sure you like she was very and so like take your vitamins
Shout out to my dude.
yeah, like she was on it. So over time that was just something that naturally became engraved in me. And then I got an appreciation of it in my adulthood. And once I like discovered that there's actually more enjoyable ways to eat healthy foods, I was like, oh, okay, like um and I don't know, like your body just feels better. Your body feels way better. You're full of energy.
Yeah.
So I've just learned to appreciate it, and I think also working at Whole Foods because I worked at Whole Foods for like a while when I was like 19. Working at Whole Foods really like opened my mind up to that.
Yeah.
Because there was just like a lot of vegans and like healthy this and healthy that. So it opened up my mind to like what healthy eating can do for your body. I would see like 60-year-olds and they look like 30.
Right.
So it goes to show like it's doing something. And from there I found an appreciation of like eating healthier, and like now it's a part of me. And again, like I think it's more of a mind over matter thing too, like
Definitely is.
especially like that and the gym, like it's definitely like a mindset thing. So once I kind of got over that barrier of like this is nasty, and instead of looking at it as like instead of looking at it as oh this is nasty, I looked at it as this is like edifying my body. Let me, so that's where that comes from. And like I said, it just the results pay off. I feel better, I feel lighter, I have more energy, I look better. So
That's awesome.
you. And I wouldn't, in your situation, I feel I definitely can understand how you feel because with my kidney situation, I'm not able to I'm not able to go as hard as I used to because my body became a lot more fragile.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could, I would encourage you to like still like try to find a way to be active, whether it's like
Oh,
walking or
definitely.
like
That
swimming.
that boy keep me busy now.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
that's a whole workout within it.
Yeah, but no, it's like I still got it. I still can go. You know,
Yeah.
I do little workouts around the house.
Yeah.
Um, with me, it's just kind of like you said, like there's a limit. Before, like, and I think that's really what it is. Because sometimes, like, as a man, you have to humble yourself in the gym. Because you might look around and you like, damn, all these dudes doing all these weights in me. And like, I remember when I first started the gym, the big thing with me was like I was looking around, I'm like, dang, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
And I finally, like, with me, I had finally got to that point, like I'm benching crazy.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
I had finally got like surpassed my body weight at the time. Like I was up to like at that time I was like 165, so I was doing like 180 something. Um and that was with like no spot. And
Wow.
and so like for me, like it took me a long time to get there. And so I think that's the hardest part for me, like the fact that I want to do it. Like I can still go in and do like, you know, what's the bar is like what, 50 or 45? I can't remember. But like I can do the bar with, 90 on it. So I can do that. But at the same time, like this will start popping and hurting. And so it's like I can't really,
Do too much.
yeah. So it sucks because it's like I'm not gonna say I never will, but it's gonna be tough for me to get back to where I used to be. And like, going, like everybody used to want to go to the gym with me. They'd be like, dang, when you walk in the gym, you walk in there like you own it. So it's like, and I gotta live up to my goal. I set out a goal for myself. I want to be the sexiest dad alive. I want to be a
Period.
DILF. So,
Period.
I ain't giving up on that goal.
Don't.
And you know what? I'm gonna get back to it for sure.
You have time.
Yeah, I definitely do. I'm young. Exactly. I'm trying to, yeah, let me not say that. But yeah, so I'm glad we had this conversation because I'm feeling inspired. I know the people listening will feel inspired too.
Definitely.
Before we head on out of here, do you have anything else you would like to say to the people?
Yes. Mindset is everything. That's so cliche to say. It's like very, 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 very cliche to say. You hear that everywhere, but it's true. Like, I realize we're living in a matrix, and I'm just gonna be honest. Like, that's the way I see it.
No, I'm laughing because I literally watched that movie last night. That's why I'm laughing.
We're literally in a simulation, okay? Like we're in a simulation. And I don't want to sound like those conspiracy theorists, but you can do anything you put your mind to. Like literally anything you put your mind to, especially like for those who are believers, for those who are like Christian. Like if you read in the Bible, it literally tells you like how things can come to pass. Like you speak it into existence, you speak over yourself. All that stuff, not only does it make your faith stronger in God, but ultimately it changes your mindset. And I feel like once you get to the point where you are able to shift your mindset and shift your perspective, you'll be able to like step into like your goals more. So like for example, like or basically I'm not gonna get into like this whole rant because we'll be here for like 5 hours.
Hey,
But
I definitely would love to have you on again, sometime in the near future for sure.
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lexie Walters, I'm your host, Ron Nadon. Thank you for joining us today, and we out.
Trip forever and I'm just not getting started. That's the one. Yeah.